I suppose it's time to finish Barbie month with Barbie of Swan Lake, which has a bunch of ups and downs, I suppose. On the plus side, they moved to a more happy ending for the ballet, which is probably more traditional at this point, but the traditional ending, if we want to talk about the original version of the story, is pretty tragic and messed up. And usually revolves around, Odette and the prince, committing suicide because the prince, swears his eternal love to the wrong person, realizes after he's been tricked, they can never fix it, so he agrees to commit suicide with Odette by jumping into the lake where they both drown. And this breaks the curse, but, so the maidens get to go back to normal, and they get to watch Odette and the prince ascend into heaven, which is a pretty tragic and messed up ending. Or you get the even worse ending, where, Rothbart's like, "You'll be mine forever," and then proceeds to drown the prince and Odette in a storm, and we see the swan maidens come back and land on the lake at the end of it. So they're forever stuck now as swans, and there's just no going back ever, because there's no way to break the spell, because Odette's gone now. So yeah, we get a happy ending instead of those kinds of endings, which I kind of approve of, because, I don't want something to try and make me feel depressed, at the end of a movie, usually. Like, if I'm looking for sorrow and misery, there's enough of it in the real world. I don't need it in a movie, in my opinion. Like, give me the happy ending, to make me feel satisfied with the end result, even if it's less realistic. But they also make, other changes to the story, like introducing new characters. Like, we have a talking unicorn, so I don't know if that was meant to be a nod to My Little Pony, or if this came out... Well, actually, no, My Little Pony's been around for a long time, so having talking ponies around, or talking unicorns, is something of an old hat trick, right? Why they thought it was needed in this movie, I don't know. They just wanted to add one, I guess. Like, we're going to make other changes too. Like, let's throw in a troll that keeps a library full of books with that, contains at least one or more books on the lore of the forest. Explain, how Odette's prophesied to defeat Rothbart and bring peace back to the Enchanted Forest, and restore the Fairy Queen to her position of power. And yeah, they decided to introduce a Fairy Queen as well, and Rothbart, is her evil brother who was banished from the forest, because he was evil and was going to ruin everything. But of course, banishing the evil person doesn't stop them from coming back later when they're more powerful. You think people would learn from their mistakes at some point on that and just be like, "Oh, just kill him now. It'll save us so much trouble, well, if we take him out while he's weak." And they're like, No. We have to do the story thematical thing, where we send them away, and they come back and ruin everything, and we need a hero to step up that was prophesied to defeat them somehow. That's just the way it goes. So we can fill out this entire book, or series of books. So yeah, we got that going on too. And of course he has his daughter, to have the whole usual tricking the prince to swearing his eternal love to the wrong person thing going on. Though I admit they do try to trick you into thinking we're going to get a more tragic ending, so I guess I'll give them credit for that. That was a nice touch. Making it look like we're going to get the bad ending and then switching it into a happy ending, though how they tilt the villains at the end of the movie is a bit messed up, with them turning Rothbart into a cuckoo clock. That has to be a shitty way to live the rest of your life. Forever popping out of a clock, every hour to be like, cuckoo, cuckoo. Yeah, that's a pretty shitty existence. Ending spoilers, I suppose. Oops, bit late. But yeah, we get why a changed up version of the story, which, if you're a traditionalist, will probably piss you off and make you want to swear off this version of this version of Swan Lake for sure. As far as an adaptation goes, I suppose if we ignore all the changes, and just think of the overall beats, it still feels so different. It almost feels like its own thing. So it feels odd to even compare it to the original in some regards. It's like we got so many new characters, scenes, a prophecy, they're trying to make it a more traditional, enchanted magic tale with that sort of stuff. So it feels like it should be like its own kind of beast, which, it does an alright job for what it is, but it's nothing particularly great in my opinion either. And it doesn't help that the person that voices Rothbart's daughter really irritates the crap out of me with her voice. Like, every time I see her, like, can someone please just shut her up? Like, it just grates on your ears. And I know she's meant to be annoying, and you're supposed to hate her, and it's supposed to form a joke later when, Rothbart tells her, when she's going to the royal dance to shut up and not talk, because it'll give all his evil plans away. Because anyone can hear her voice and know that's not Odette. I mean, just listen to that voice that can crack glass. So, yeah. There's parts of this movie, that I love to hate. And there's parts of this film that are alright. So, all in all, I'd say, it's a okay experience, but it's not going to be something, you're probably going to watch more than once, unless you really enjoyed it. And for me, this is a one-done deal. It's going to get put in the box and then put somewhere else in my collection. Either going in the bin tubs I got for the moment, or it's going to get stripped later on at some point and thrown in a binder with a bunch of other animated kids films. Kids films? Jeez. Of course, I got plenty of others that are probably going to end up falling in the same categories. It's not alone in that fate, It's not like Dragonheart where I actually do enjoy watching it, more than once. Till next time, then. See ya.
Oh dear, my little pigeon. How would you like a new feather pillow?